Welcome back to World Business Today.
It's happened again. Another hack attack on a household name company. This time, it's the Japanese gaming company Sega. Sega says the cyber thieves made off with names, birth dates, passwords and email addresses, but not credit card information belonging to 1.3 million customers of its Sega Pass system. That's run by its European unit. In a statement on its Japanese website, Sega apologised to users, but the company did not indicate when Sega Pass would be back up. Sega is just the latest victim in a series of hack attacks to hit the gaming industry this spring. Others include Epic Games and, of course, Sony's PlayStation network. Well, after falling back as much as 1.8% earlier in the day, Sega clawed back most of its early losses. It closed the day in Tokyo down less than 1/10%. So, what can be done to stop criminals from breaking into your site? Let's do some cyber sleuthing now. We're joined by Mohan Koo. He's Managing Director of DTEX Systems, which specialises in protecting online data. Mohan, first of all, we've seen a spate of these attacks. Why have there been just so many? Is this a copycat thing?
Well, I think this is a sign of the times here that we're experiencing, and the key thing to note here is that these are targeted attacks. Organisations are actually being targeted for whatever purpose, and in the case of Sega, it looks like it's personal information that's been targeted.
And give us an idea what they would likely do with that information.
Well, it's fairly obvious, Andrew, that they would be selling that data and looking to sell that data. It's pretty important to remember here that even though credit card details were not stolen in this instance, it is personal data, and personal data has a value on the black market.
You would have thought that after the Sony attack a few weeks ago that companies like Sega and others would have looked at their own security systems and beat them up if necessary. What does this suggest to you? That the hackers are just becoming too sophisticated now to be dealt with?
Well, it's a combination of things. Hackers are becoming more sophisticated, that's obvious. But at the same time, the spending on security is nowhere near proportionate to the risks that these organisations face. And the thing to note here is it's not something that you can fix overnight. It's not something that you can upgrade all your security systems and your processes and controls instantly overnight when these things start to happen. It's a process that needs to be followed over a period of time, and calculatively risks need to be controlled, technology is put in place, and people taught the right things.
Well, from your own perspective with DTEX, are you seeing a lot more interest now in the solutions that you're providing? Are companies taking this much more seriously?
Absolutely, companies are taking it much more seriously, but I think the key thing here is proportionate spending, and overall budgets for security are increasing, but they're not increasing enough, and certainly not increasing enough in the right areas. You know, every organisation knows that security is a priority right now, but it's important to understand all the different risks that an organisation faces and spend their security budget proportionately against those risks. So the insider threat versus the external threat are two different things to consider there.
And what can the individual do to help protect themselves?
Well, potentially that's the most important factor here, is that individuals themselves need to be very, very careful about what they do on the internet, how they share their data, with whom they share their data, and it's very, very important to remember as a very basic principle, do not use the same passwords for multiple accounts. So in the case of Sega, where they're saying that there was no credit card details compromised, that's not really the point. We can see that passwords have been compromised, and if somebody uses that same password on multiple different accounts, for example, their own personal email account, then that's potentially something that can be threatened. And if a hacker or an external a third party gets access to your email account, there's a lot of information they can glean from that to do other things which could potentially harm you as an individual.
Okay, Mohan, thanks very much for joining us. Mohan Koo with DTEX, Data Protection Operator. Thanks again.